Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Johnson again, and we are going to continue to talk about ANTs, otherwise known as automatic negative thoughts. So just a quick review, over the past few videos we have talked about magnifying, which means taking a small problem and making it big and it ruins your whole day. Or we also talked about all or nothing thinking, which is thinking in black or white, or right or wrong, or good or bad. So instead of giving ourselves grace and seeing the gray area, we feel like if we did, we got a 92 on a test, that we did awful. So we don't see some of our successes. And then yesterday we talked about predicting the future, which is like assuming that something bad is going to happen. So I'm not going to try out for that sports team because I'm definitely not going to make it, or I'll embarrass myself. So limiting our opportunities. And today we're going to continue to talk about them, but I wanted to also say that as we continue to talk about automatic negative thoughts, I just want to let you know that everyone has these. And I know I said in the beginning that we're all humans and we all will experience these, but I just want you to know that every person who, is living life and experiencing the ups and downs that life brings will experience negative thinking. And we've probably all experienced one of these from time to time. Sometimes we favor one, so one happens more often than others. But I just wanted to make sure that I shared that with you and let you know that if you're experiencing any of these things, it's not good or bad. It's just part of the human experience. So we will move on to talk about stewing. So I'm going to go ahead and read this to you, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. So it says, stewing is when you keep going over something in your mind, hoping you can figure out a way to change it. When you repeat negative thoughts or bad experiences over and over in your mind, you begin to lose sight of positive things around you. Stop thinking about mistakes too much. Think about what you did right. Think less about what you did wrong and focus on the positive. So the little blurb or example they give right here says, I keep thinking about my mistakes. So one thing that I've really noticed, and this is in myself and then people around me and students I've talked to, is that, we live our lives during the day, and so we are coming to school and we're listening to people, listening to our friends talk, listening to our family when we get home, listening to teachers teach us lessons, watching, when we get home, watching videos on YouTube or playing our PS4 or watching videos on TikTok, or, there's a lot of things that we are always doing, especially when we have a cell phone. We can keep ourselves entertained or distracted most of the day. But then whenever we lay down to go to bed, it's silent, it's quiet, and we're with our own thoughts. And so a lot of the time, whenever we have that silent time, we start to think about, our day, and sometimes we replay mistakes that we made, or like things that were embarrassing that happened, or just things in our past that we wish we could change. And so that's the time where we really need to try to reframe our thinking. And I know it's very hard. I mean, from personal experience, I know it's hard to just stop worrying about things like that, but it's important to focus on like the positives that came from that situation. So for example, let's say you're laying down to go to bed and you start thinking about how you had a presentation that day, and although everything went okay, you mispronounced a name, or you said something that you didn't mean to say. Instead of focusing on, I made that mistake, like everyone's going to be thinking about it, which in all actuality, most of the time people aren't thinking about it. We're thinking about it more than they are. And instead of, thinking of that, we can think of, I was brave. I got up and did a presentation. My teacher said I did well. I really enjoyed the information that I shared. And so just trying to reframe that. It doesn't always just happen whenever you lay down, but, and it could happen anytime. And sometimes you might really be hard on yourself all day long about a mistake. But I just noticed that that's a common time that happens. So just a quick little tip, but we will talk about ways to combat all these negative thoughts. But for this one, if you do lay down and start worrying and stuff like that, it's good to have a bedtime routine. And that's probably something I'll do a video on, because this is something that adults struggle with as well. But it's important to do activities that wind down our mind. And typically, I know you probably don't want to hear this, but typically watching YouTube videos or being on our phone is not a good thing to do before bed, because not only will we might see something upsetting or something that hurts our feelings right before we go to bed, if it's on social media or TikTok or YouTube or whatever the case may be. And also, it gets our mind going, and the lighting on a phone, you may have heard this before, actually hurts our sleep cycle. So it's important to read or even draw, color, something that's not involving a screen, which I know is not always what people want to hear, but it's definitely the truth. So we can talk more about healthy sleeping habits in a different video, but just a little quick tip there. So that's all I have for today, and then tomorrow is Friday, and I will do one more video, and then I will rejoin you on Monday with a recap and just talking about how to manage these negative thoughts. So I hope that you have a fantastic day, and thank you for joining me again.